Hi, this is Cindy Clark from PAC-B TV. Welcome. We're here today with Lisa Saunders, who also is a member of our PAC-B team, and Lisa comes to us from Connecticut. So we're going to talk today a little bit about what brought Lisa to New York, how the differences between Connecticut's PAC-B, their public access, and our local one too. So anyways, welcome, Lisa.
Thank
Good
you,
to see
Cindy.
you.
Yeah, and it's exciting to be in your studio and everything.
It.
Wow.
I know, it is good. Now, let me ask you this. Since now you've had a little experience with PAC-B here, how can you compare it to what you were doing in Connecticut? Is it similar or,
No, it's a lot different, but that's partly because of COVID, that it's a lot different. I worked out of Groton, Connecticut, and I would interview people regularly in that studio, and that was 3 cameras. They just obviously must have had more funding or more something. But this has been wonderful because it's a smaller community here than it was in Groton, Connecticut, and I'm excited you have a studio.
Mm-hmm. So are we.
And I never got to actually come in here when I moved here. Then when I finally had time to interview people, COVID hit, and I thought, well, how are we supposed to do that? Mm-hmm. And luckily, your station got a Zoom channel, or I don't know what you call it, a Zoom account, mm-hmm. whatever. And so I was able to learn how to interview people on Zoom, which was a great learning experience, actually. And then I never had to care what I looked like from the waist down here. Gee.
You can wear your sweats. Yeah, I know. Very comfortable. That's true. That is true. You always have to look for the pluses.
Yes so there were pluses, but then there's more technical issues I had to handle that I wasn't used to having to think about at all.
Right.
Lighting, all those kinds of things.
Big changes. But, you learn more. It's a big learning experience. It is what it is, so everybody does the best they can do. And you did a great job on your interviews,
well,
by the
thank
way.
you.
Yes,
it was
you
a
did.
Great way
great
to
job.
Be a part of the community.
Isn't it great? I love this. I love this. So anyways, what brought you from Connecticut to Baldwinsville?
My daughter lives here and grandchildren. So my husband retired from Pfizer. He's a Pfizer scientist. And we thought, let's come up here. Let's bring my mother because she was living alone. So we brought her up here and we're all here so we can be with each other, help each other out. So
wonderful.
That's what we decided to do. And I can't believe that I actually live in Baldwinsville. I had never known about Baldwinsville per se, but I used to spend my summers in upstate New York, in Wayne County, New York, in Saunders, in that area in Lyons. And I always dreamed that I'd marry a guy from upstate New York and live in upstate New York. Because I always lived where it was congested, Queens or northern New Jersey. And I thought, upstate people are so nice. They have that nice accent. And my grandparents, farms, the cows, all that. I just loved it. And I can't believe that I actually live here now.
It's a great community, though.
It's a wonderful community because it's got the Erie Canal. So that's fun, watching boats go through. I bring my granddaughter down to Lock 24 and we watch the boats and we talk to the boat owners. That's a lot of fun. And I see a lot of cows. Jim and I get to take, just drives in the country when we have a few minutes, and you always see a cow.
Now, you're talking about the Erie Canal. I from different conversations that we've had over rice pudding at the Beeville Diner, you have expressed an interest in the Erie Canal, and you've gotten very involved in the history of it,
yes.
The local history of the canal. Now, is that another passion of yours? Or?
Well, it's my new passion. I'm always, as a writer or just as a human being, I'm always looking for the next adventure, something to look forward to. And I think it's really exciting to live along the Erie Canal and to have that as a goal. There's the Erie Canalway Challenge. It's 360 miles. And my mother set a goal of 1 mile. I pushed her in her wheelchair, and she actually got, a letter from them and stickers and all kinds of stuff for doing her 1 mile. And you send in a picture. And my husband and I have done 83 miles so far of the Erie Canal. Yes, we just do we average about 1 mile a week because we have to drive further and further and further when we have time off from, family issues. And we do it, and it's a fun goal because you're reading the plaques along the way. And then, like I said, my family, I used to be in the farm area in Saunders and Wayne County, and come to find out my ancestors were engineers on the canal out of Lyons. I couldn't believe it. I really did not know that about them at all, because this is, great, generations ago. And I met Mark DeCracker from Mural Mania, because I'm seeing these murals along the way of the Erie Canal. It's beautiful artwork, and you're learning history because it's about the canal. In places like Jordan, where the canal, the active canal is no longer there, but you can see murals there, and in Weedsport, and there's images of buildings that used to be there, and you can still see, oh, that building's still here, that's still here. It's really thrilling, that work that they're doing across the Erie Canal.
Well, the Erie Canal itself, there's so much history there, and I'm so happy that they've preserved so much of it, so we can enjoy years later and get the history.
It's a wonderful place to walk. It's a wonderful goal to have.
Yes, it is.
And we're learning more and more about these upstate New York towns because we have to drive to each one. We're going to go to Rome and stay a couple nights in Rome and try to get a lot of miles in over there. And we'll learn about the Stanwix Fort. There's a lot of things we learn about along the way, between the murals and the historical sites, and so we're learning a lot.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Now you're an interviewer here with PAC, and you do a great job, by the way. Is there any particular area that you like to interview more than the others? I mean, that you find interesting?
I like history. So I like to interview people on the history of the area, and I'm also very interested in health. Anything you can do health-wise to prevent diseases or injuries, I enjoy that too.
Oh, that's good. Now I'm looking at these books here. Have you written all of these books?
Yeah, I'm an author. Yes, I've written several books.
Why don't you give us like a brief overview of what you've done here?
Oh, well, ever true. These are my great-great-grandparents who were out of, he was actually from Canada, and he came over right before the war broke out. He married Nancy when she was 15, and when she was 17, he went off to war. And she went and moved back in with her parents in Rose, New York. And there's 3 years of their love letters back and forth. And when I say love letters, they weren't educated, and their love was, I'd rather be in a feather bed with you than kicking around with nobody here, so that was about as lovey-dovey as they got, but her letters are just as interesting. Who's sleeping with who's getting drunk and married without them realizing they're getting married. I mean, his parents begged him to come back to Canada, but he felt it was his duty to try to hold the union together. So it's really fun to be back up here in the area where they're from. Their house that they built after the war was in the family till recently, till my aunt died. So anyway, I love this story, and I'm going to be doing it. I have a play based on this. If you've ever seen the play Love Letters, I actually saw Van Johnson perform that when he was in his 80s. I saw him perform Love Letters, and it's just like that. It's their love letters, and I just take segments and read it back and forth. And actually, people can contact me if they want me to start performing that again. And Ride a Horse, Not an Elevator. This is about my time at my grandparents' farm in the village of Saunders, or town of Saunders. I'm not sure how that works. But anyway, and this is the time that I spent there. And when I used to go there, we lived in Queens at the time on the 16th floor, and my grandmother absolutely hated that I was riding an elevator every day as a first grader, and my father hated that I was going up there to ride horses because he's a city boy. So to think his daughter on horses, so that's why I came up with the title Ride a Horse, Not an Elevator. It's just kind of the culture clash and how I'm a chubby kid looking for a friend, and I finally find one. And what's so exciting is her name is Martha. I met her. My grandparents introduced me to her. She was on a neighboring farm, and I just happened to bump into her in a restaurant in Sylvan Beach, and I couldn't believe it. She heard my voice and said, I think that's Lisa. We've been friends for 55 years, but I hardly see her. But now I see her. Now I live up here, and I can see her again. So anyways, this is a fun children's story that I would say is appropriate for grammar school children and for grandmas. And now that I'm a grandma, it's kind of fun.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
And Shays Rebellion, he ended up settling in Rochester. This is about the hanging of Henry Gale. He's an ancestor of mine. And after the Revolutionary War, they were taxing people on their property to pay for the war, and he just couldn't afford, his brother couldn't afford it, and then there's a big uprising, and that's called Shays Rebellion. So he was about to hang for that, my ancestor, because he was heavily involved with stopping court, because he didn't want these fellow soldiers to be prosecuted and thrown in jail. Anyway, it's kind of fun because, again, he settled in here, and I don't want to tell you what happened, but he was marched up to the gallows, a noose was put around his neck, prayers were said for his soul, but then something happened, and I wouldn't exist if that something exciting didn't happen.
Well,
so I don't want to tell you.
I'm glad that it happened, that it didn't happen. Yeah.
And then this is a story my dad wrote after my daughter died, and it's Surviving Loss, The Woodcutter's Tale. And it's just a beautiful story, I think. So I wrote some things in the back of it, and I've given it to people who've lost a child. And the other books, I love history, so this is After the Loss of a Spouse from Henry VIII to Julia Child. That was more like a joke, because you can't really feel sorry for him when he loses a spouse. But other people go on to do great things when their life is in shatters, and sometimes your life could take a turn you never expect. And like right now, I'm in a new chapter of my life. I'm still new to the area, and I have a new chapter in my life. I gave up editing magazines so I could spend more time with my grandchildren and my mother. So I don't know what's next.
Well, I think it's great. I'm looking forward to it. Such an interesting turn here.
Yes, and this is kind of, I would like to write about our adventures on the Erie Canalway Trail, because this is why I wrote Mystic Seafarers Trail. When we moved to Mystic, Connecticut, we moved actually from Suffern, New York to Mystic when my husband, Pfizer, transferred us to their Groton site. And I thought, okay, I need an adventure. What's it going to be? And I decided to go sailing on an epic voyage. And I had one, all right. But I throw in a lot of history and what happened on this voyage that was a semi-disaster. But anyway, so when I have time, I would like to write about what it's like to journey the Erie Canalway Trail, because it sounds very tame. You're just walking a very easy path. But, we've been attacked by swarms of mosquitoes. We've almost gotten struck by lightning. We meet interesting people along the way, because when we finally can find a town with a bathroom, that's really exciting. And we'll meet people in breweries and, that are interested in what we're doing. We find out what they're doing. So we've met people all along the trail. So and we've gotten rides from perfect strangers when we've been caught in downpours, because we don't still know how to do that Uber thing. And we are in the middle of nowhere sometimes. Right. So I'm a little afraid, is Uber going to find us on this trail when we're kind of desperate to get out of here? And we've seen wonderful nature and wildlife. Anyway.
So you would recommend to anybody to take a trek down the Erie Canal?
Oh, absolutely. You can look it up, Erie Canalway Trail, because it's not always going to be along the modern, active Erie Canal Trail. You're going to see some pretty exciting old, if you love ruins, just to go see the Richmond Aqueduct, it's really quite thrilling around here. And of course, the museum in downtown Syracuse is absolutely thrilling because it's an old waylock. Yes. And you can really picture it.
They had the water. The water used to go there.
Yes, right on Erie Boulevard. So it's kind of fun to walk the trail on Erie Boulevard and know that I'm walking in where the canal was.
Well, I never knew that that's what the Erie Boulevard was named for. Yes. All these years, and then all of a sudden the light goes on. You put it together. I know
that these towns exist because of the canal, which is really kind of exciting.
I know. There's a lot of history here, even locally, right in our community. And you've probably found more history than most people that have been living here for years.
Oh, I don't know about that. I still trying to figure out, because there was a canal here that connected to something, but I'm still a little confused about the old places. There's that nice monument in the parking lot. What do you call that? Like Town Square?
Village Square, yeah.
Village Square. So there's some hints to it on there. I'd love to see more signage there, actually.
Okay, well, we'll work on that with the village.
Yeah, what is those I don't know what you call those things sticking in the river where you could tell, I think a railroad track used to be. Near W.T. Bruce. I'd like to know I'd love to see a sign. I would love to see a sign to know what that is. And I love walking that area because of the birds. I always see birds.
Yeah, the eagles. A lot of eagles are in that area.
I haven't seen.
Yeah.
I don't think I've caught the eagles. I've seen a lot of other birds and a lot of action, and I love seeing the photographers, meeting the photographers along the lock and the bridge, and the fishermen. That's pretty exciting to hear what they're catching or what they're seeing. So, and my granddaughter loves getting a donut with me, and then we sit and watch the birds.
That's
so.
nice though, and we're lucky that we have a community that offers this, and I'm glad that you've come here, and I'm glad that you're getting involved in probably a lot of things that most people of their whole lives haven't gotten involved in because you're adventurous. You want this next journey, the next big adventure.
Yeah, my adventure really, I'm pretty lame when it comes to serious adventure. I get scared. If for anyone that's read the Mystic Seafarers Trail, you'll know.
Oh, okay.
You know?
I'm going to have to read it now. But I do appreciate you coming in. And I'm glad that you're now on board with PAC.
I'm thrilled to do it. And like I said, I learned Zoom, but now that with COVID, and we're loosening restrictions, I can come into your studio now.
Yes.
And now I know what it's like to sit here. And this is wonderful, this cozy room.
I know. Well, it's a little different for Lisa because usually Lisa's on the interviewer side.
Yes.
And she's not being interviewed. But we're very, very glad that she took the time with us today to be interviewed. I appreciate it thoroughly. If anybody has any information on the local canal, the barge canal, the Erie Canal in this area, or questions for Lisa, you can contact us through www.pacbtv.org, and we'll get the information to her so she can get it to you, because she's always looking for more information, knowledge, whatever in this area. But I appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share.
Well, we're glad that you did.
What I'm looking for and how excited I am to be here, because I never dreamed I was going to live in upstate New York. So I'm just thrilled.
Well, we're thrilled to have you, and you've brought so much to the table. I've learned a lot from discussing things with you and some of the interviews that you've done. And thank you. Thank you.
And thank you for getting my mother a cat.
Oh.
So you've connected me to a lot of wonderful people.
Well, that's good. That's
told
what
me
it's all
about that
about.
free Zumba class on the island, and I met a woman who I walk with every morning now.
Well, see,
do you know what I mean? So you're a great connector. Thank you.
It's community. It's all about our wonderful community here, and everybody does work together. And that's, we like to do these types of interviews that are relevant and are meaningful to members, to our whole community.
One thing I really want to quickly say is I got to give a plug for Jackie Owens at the public library, Baldwinsville Public Library. Baldwinsville area has a phenomenal writing program through her, what she's doing. And sometimes I jump on. I'm not a night person, but one of the things she has is on Monday nights at 7, get on. You say a quick hi, but then you sit there and write for 20 minutes, even though you're on Zoom and you're not talking, but it forces me to do certain things because you get tired of writing sometimes or you don't get motivated. And she does other things that I'm not involved with, so I can't speak to it, but I really, really suggest that anybody who likes to write contact the library or look on the website, because they have they have an author's meet and greet coming up. I actually interviewed the author and one of the authors and Jackie Owens about that. So I hope other people look into that.
Well, that's good, and it's a little more knowledge for us too. And again, thank you very much for coming.
You're welcome.
And if anybody has any questions for Lisa, or they want to offer anything, you can contact us again at www.pacbtv.org. And thank you very much. Everybody have a great day.